We are live from DHS Stadium Field here in Darien, Connecticut, and we have a huge matchup here on DAF Media. The Chaminade Flyers face off against the Darien Blue Wave. I'm John Baccio here with Braden Schenk. The Chaminade and Darien duo meet up once again here for the matchup, but we're in the opposite location this time. Darien, Connecticut is the spot. And Braden, it's a huge matchup today. Tell us a little bit about it.
It is indeed. They met last year for the first time ever in these two's program history. Now the home and home, they come to Darien. We welcome in our folks from Chaminade, New York. And last year they played to a great game. It was the Blue Wave that got the best of Chaminade, 15-12. But Chaminade's looking for some revenge here on this Thursday afternoon. Yeah,
huge game in that one. You've got Ty Kaminsky here who makes it 2-0. And I mean, Darien just started off strong. Balsamo of the Flyers responds to make it 2-1, 5 to go in the first. Now it's 5-2, Darien up in the second quarter. And Meniscus with the dime, Allegro with the finish. Still in the second with 8 to play, Ryan O'Rourke fires underhand and scores. A beautiful goal right there. Third quarter's when it gets interesting though. Chaminade starts setting into their first matchup against Darien in the school's history. Creo starts it off with his strike, and Aiden Lau, calm, cool, collected, 10-6 now. Here's 11-8. Time ticking in the third. Allegro puts in another. Balsamo responds again with 15 to go in the third. It's 12-9. Let's take it late in the fourth with the Matthew Minikis show continuing with the finish, making it 15-11. Correo puts one in with a minute to go, but it's just not enough. The Darien Blue Wave finished that one out, and what a game it was out in Gold Star Stadium. But that's just a little preview of what this matchup looked like last year. It is a very different game this year. And one player that just stands out above the rest is the number 7 player in the class of 2024 for Darien. And that is Brady Picorni. Let's take a look at our spotlight player. Braden, tell me about him.
Picorni, he stepped up big with the graduation of Matthew Minikis, Ty Kaminsky, Joe Caesar. But Brady Picorni's really stepped up for this Darien team, the Notre Dame-bound Fighting Irish Jr. He had the goal against Brunswick that shocked the entire world from the 30-yard line, beat Tucker Williams to give Darien the win against the number 1 team in the country for their second win on the season. Brady is a true magician out there. He can do everything, go behind his back, take the shot, and he truly leads this Darien team. Plus, you got this fabulous clip in the scrimmage against Cheshire. He can beat you anywhere on that field.
Another player that can beat you anywhere on the field is our spotlight player for the Chaminade Flyers, and that is Gavin Creo. Creo, last game in the East vs. West battle against St. Ignatius, ended with 6 goals and assists. He's one of the most electric ex-attackmen in the high school game right now and has truly embraced his star role on this Chaminade squad. He's got 27 points on the year, and this Chaminade team has plenty of talent, but who knows where this Flyers team would be at without the likes of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good word to call him right there. The Richmond-bound Gavin Creo, he truly can do it all like Picorni. Take the long shot, go up close, beat you down low. He scored 3 against Darien last year in the meeting. He's commanded the offense for Chaminade all season, and that's one player that Darien's going to need to stop the big 1-9 on the attack.
Absolutely. A huge matchup again here in Darien High School Stadium Field. Chaminade on their side of the bench, Darien retreating to their own. And Braden, we can talk about this matchup a ton, but let's dive into the team storylines a bit. Let's start off with Darien. I mean, they have played incredible all season, but it's been a lot of ups and downs. Let's flash forward to their coaches now, as we have the two greats, Jeff Bramier and Jack Moran. Moran, if he wins today, he would have 600 wins on his entire career.
Yeah, that would be quite something for Jack Moran to get a 600th career victory. You see right there the all-time leaderboard. Jeff Bramier, 6th all-time in the nation. All-time high school lacrosse. Who's number 7? Who else but Jack Moran, looking to make one up on Bramier. Jeff Bramier hit his 600th, I want to say 2-3 years ago. Big accomplishment. And Jack Moran just sits 1 win away from becoming only the 7th high school coach in the history of high school lacrosse to get 600 or more career victories.
Speaking of the history of high school lacrosse, I mean, these two guys, Jeff Bramier, in his 40th season at Darien head coach, Jack Moran in his 44th season as the Chaminade head coach. These two guys, I mean, they've been clashing the high school game for years, just not against each other, and now we see their second ever matchup between the two.
Yeah, this was a great addition to the schedule last year. They were supposed to play in 2020, the COVID year, at St. Anthony's on the ESPN Geico Showcase, although COVID canceled that one, and they made it up last year at Gold Star Stadium. Again, it was Darien that got the best of the Chaminade Flyers 15-12, although 2023, it's a different story. These are two very different teams, and someone will be coming away with a victory here on this Thursday afternoon.
Oh, yes, they will. Let's talk about Darien a little bit before we go into the break. Darien, 3-1 to start the year, but that is one odd 3-1. They got off to a huge start with a 9-8 win over the Connecticut rival Fairfield Prep. Then they come back to Darien to play against the nationally #1 ranked Brunswick school and upset them with under 2 seconds to play. But where it gets weird is when they go down to Long Island just 2 days later and they lose to Manhasset 11-2 in a pummel show by the Manhasset Chiefs. It is never fun going against one of the best Fogos in the country, Cal Girard, that is, headed to Duke. And there was a fun little cycle to that game. Cal Girard face-off win, hold the ball for a few minutes, score, and repeat. It's clear that the loss of a player like Ty Kaminsky last year is huge, and Kaminsky is a big reason why Darien won 15-12 in a thriller on the island last year.
Yeah, that was the big difference for Darien. Kaminsky could win a face-off straight up for Darien, transition it to the offense. This year they have the likes of the sophomore Leo Barbagallo, who forces more of a scrum, getting all three players involved, which when you go up against those top Fogos like Andrew Greenspan, the Notre Dame commit out of Brunswick, Cal Girard, the Duke commit out of Manhasset, they're going to kill you on that 9 times out of 10. They're going to flick it up, get it, set the offense up. And what made Girard so lethal is he would get the face-off win, go to the wing, find an attack to snipe Hagan on the shot, and then they would repeat that 3 or 4 more times. And Darien, the offense barely touched the ball in the first quarter, so they were down, I think, 2-3-0. At the end of the first 12 minutes, down 6-0 at halftime. So Carter Hagan, he's looking to step up from that. At a nice game on Tuesday against Fairfield Ludlow, but the offense needs to get going in the first quarter. That's been a big just detriment for Darien all year. The fact that they've been outscored 10-3 in first quarters this season.
Well, that is going to do it for our pregame show. This is John Baccio here with Braden Schenk on DAF Media. We'll see you back here for game time. Let's take a quick pause for the national anthem.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Darien High School Stadium. Today, we get to play host to a top 10 nationally ranked matchup as the Chaminade Flyers take on your Darien Blue Wave Boys Lacrosse. Now for the starting lineups. First up, the Flyers, led by head coach Jack Moran, assisted by Stephen Leichhardt, Michael DeMio, Gregory Kay, Thomas O'Connell, and James Regan. Number 2, George Urich. Number 3, Quinn Ball. Number 9, Captain Ryan Landolfi. Number 11, Captain Benjamin Cacavo. Number 19, Captain Gavin Creo. Number 21, Gary Correa. Number 22, Brendan Riley. Number 25, Aiden Lau. Number 26, Captain Patrick Flaherty. Number 30, Benjamin Fox. Number 44, Brendan O'Brien. And in goal, number 33, PJ Verdi. And now for your Blue Wave, led by head coach Jeff Braymeyer, assisted by Chris Segrita and Greg Lewis. Number 4, Porter Barnett. Number 7, Luke Caesar. Number 12, Captain Mac McGarren. Number 20, William Bonner. Number 26, Mark McNamara. Number 33, Max McBride. Number 41, Leo Barbagallo. Number 50, Dylan DeRiso. Number 55, Elliot Lancaster. Number 88, Captain Jake Wilson. number 99, captain Brady Picorni. And in the cage, number 1, Carter Hagan. We now ask that everyone please rise and turn your attention to the flag for the playing of our national anthem.
We are back on DAF Media. I'm John Baccio here with Braden Schenk, and we've been previewing this matchup. We've been thinking about it all day, and it is finally time. April 13th, 1 o'clock, Chaminade High School is facing off against Darien High School. The starters walk on to the field, and let's take a look at those starters really quickly. For the Darien Blue Wave, you've got number 4, Porter Barnett, the junior, headed to Bucknell, along with the likes of Brady Picorni and more. You've also got Luke Caesar, a junior, Max McBride. Your face-off man right there, number 41, Leo Barbagallo, the sophomore, along with the long stick midi, Will Bonner. You've also got the senior defense of Jake Wilson, Mac McGarren, and more. And then the man in the cage, Carter Hagan, the junior. Braden, this is a Darien lineup that is absolutely stacked, and let's just take another look now at the Chaminade starters. You've got Ryan Landolfi, Gavin Creo, Brendan Riley. You've also got Gary Correa, Aiden Lau, and Pat Flaherty in the midfield. As for your Fogo and LSM, it's Quinn Ball and George Urich headed to Lafayette. Then your starting defense, your 3 long poles, Ben Cacavo, Ben Fox, the 5-star, and Brendan O'Brien, and the 4-star in the cage for the Flyers, PJ Verdi. The 2 in the square, it's Ball and Barbagallo. Ball wins it, flicks it off, and we are off and running.
What a 4-star recruit going to Johns Hopkins to play over there in one of the best programs in the Big Ten. PJ Verdi, he'll be looking to stop Darien all afternoon.
Here's Landolfi at the top. He gives it up to Flaherty. Flaherty over to Gary Correa. Correa headed to Stony Brook next year. It's back to Landolfi, who comes up from goal line extended. He gives it up to Aiden Lau, the 4-star headed to Navy. Now it's Flaherty who grabs it. Chaminade just going around the horn right here. Landolfi with the step-down runner. That one bounced and wide, and Gavin Creo will pick it up at X.
Again, that's the important thing for Darien. They need to hold strong here. And, well, look at that, announcer's jinx.
And Darien clearly not holding strong in that case, but Gavin Creo striking at the best time possible. Off the Gary Correa screen, fakes high, goes low, and bounces it in to draw first blood.
Like I said, Darien, their first quarter has by far been their weakest all year. They have struggled to score in the first quarter, but the defense has struggled even more in these first quarters. So Carter Hagan needs to step it up here in these first quarters if Darien wants to keep going. And a good start for Chaminade, and they're up 1-0.
It was Gavin Creo, the senior. Here are the same 2 in the face-off circle again. Ball wins the clamp. Ball wins the clamp, but does he come up with it? He does, and Chaminade's got it. Here comes Matt Marchetta, the long pole. He gets the clear. He now gives it up to the attack. Here's Landolfi.
Not the first possession Darien was looking for, but now the defense needs to step up. They struggled on the first possession. They can make up for it right here.
Here's Brendan Riley with the underhand. And that worm shot is saved by Carter Hagan.
First save is always the hardest to make. Carter Hagan getting it out of the way early. Now he needs to look to spark something. Hey, you look at the game on Tuesday, Darien went down 1-0 to Fairfield Ludlow, and they still won that game 16-4.
Can never count out this Darien squad. Just about 10 minutes to play. Here in the first quarter, Chaminade an early 1-0 lead off a Gavin Creo goal.
There's a reason he was our player to watch. He is a dynamic player there on the offense, can score at any time. Now Darien needs to get some offense and see if they can get their player to watch, Brady Picorni, going.
On this side, it's Dylan DeRisso. He gives it up. Now in the X, it's Porter Barnett. And he scores. Oh, rather, that one goes offside netting, and P.J. Verdi's got it. Here comes Gary Correa downfield.
Hey, some parents thought he scored. Looked like from here he scored instead, just off the side of the net, and Chaminade's back on the offense.
Braden, an early tone set here, and that's Chaminade being dominant throughout this whole thing. What does Darien have to do to come back?
I think the defense just needs to step up. I think the big thing for Darien, they need to avoid the face-off X. If they can just keep this back-and-forth play, eventually one of them will fall. But at all costs, they got to avoid the face-off X because that's where they've struggled this year, and that's where Chaminade will make them pay with ball. But if the defense can just keep pushing Chaminade out, he can make some saves. Eventually, the shots will fall.
In comes the sophomore, Connor Cutton. Cutton been a tremendous player for the Flyers this year. He's got 8 goals, 12 assists on the season, and he's just been a huge playmaker, tied for 4th in points in the CHSAA, which is the Catholic League of Long Island.
When we talk about a freshman being named a 5-star, Cutton is just a talented player on the Chaminade team. He'll be leading the Flyers for the next 3 years or so.
Here's Creo again! And that's a beautiful one in the same style he did it before. Coming up from the X position, goal line extended high and knocks it down.
And Carter Hagan was looking at his defenders right there, trying to figure out who lost the coverage right there, because he was wide open once he got past his defender. The slide was a little late from McNamara, and Creo was wide open to go right over the head of Carter Hagan. He got down in his position, leaving most of the upper half exposed, and he just couldn't make that save on Gavin Creo.
Yeah, and Creo, he does it in the same fashion every single time. 6 goals last game against St. Ignatius from California, who marched into Gold Star and lost 20-12.
Wow. Talk about a road trip and a half right there.
Yeah, that one's not fun. About 6 hours as Darien picks it up. 6-hour plane ride, that is.
It's a good grab by Grafton Ely right there, the long stick off to Mercer College. Play lacrosse for the Bears. And now Darien needs to calm down here, throw the first 2 goals out the window, start a brand new ball game, because there's a lot of time left here, and the offense needs to get rolling.
And the matchup that we're going to see a lot of today, Picorni on Ben Fox. But Picorni fires that one over the cage, and seems as if the 5-star headed to UNC is the winner of the first shot.
It's going to be a big day out there for the offense and the defense. Brady Picorni, the other ACC player, off to Notre Dame to play for the Fighting Irish. He's going to look to get some goals for Darien.
Picorni, a hat-trick in their game last year, and that was just as a sophomore. Now he's one of the highest-touted players in the class of 2024.
7 goals, 7 assists, and just, 4 games alone? That's pretty remarkable for Brady Picorni. And again, he can just make it look so good and so effective.
Briggs McGuckin fires, but it's off target. Porter Barnett, the Bucknell 3-star, will go out to get it. He's got 5 points so far this year, a goal and 4 assists.
And the big thing I see when I look at that Chaminade net, P.J. Verdi standing tall at 6 feet. He reminds me a lot of Cameron Weibel last year for Darien, a big guy in net that can make the saves, in big part due to his size helping him.
Chaminade slide to Picorni. That's not the guy that you want to be leaving open. Picorni's got Tully on him. Tully, the short stick D-mid. Picorni, swim move, into the middle, flicks it. Barnett, the jumping shot, and he cuts the lead in half.
And that's what impresses me so much about Brady Picorni right there. He has the ability to score, but he has the same ability to get assists. He now has more assists than he does goals, and he gets it down to Porter Barnett, who finishes right there. And the Darien Juniors got his second goal on the season, but the two of them make quite a good attacking line.
Porter Barnett, just an absolute beast for Darien this season, and him striking early is a good sign for Darien.
Yeah, he scored against Chaminade last year, committed to Bucknell to play for the Bison, and he's just a talented player for this Darien team.
Here comes Flaherty now. Flaherty, big, aggressive, flicks it. Oh, Creo tries going behind the back but can't get it.
And that's just one of those instances where less is more. You want to take a shot on an exposed Hagen, not necessarily try to make it look like a Sports Center top play.
Landolfi's going to reset. Correa enters the game. Aiden Lau staying back on defense. Here comes Correa. He jumps over a defender, flicks it. It's saved by Hagen. What a play by the Loyola MD commit.
And what a play that was from Correa right there, jumping up, one-handed, still getting the shot off. Darien's got numbers they need to look at.
Here's Barnett, the step down. Verdi saves it once, it goes over the net. Stick breaks, it's George Urich's. The pass is all over the place.
And this is again Darien losing their composure.
They touched it.
I mean, you can't be moving it along like that. You had a wide open Barnett, you missed the shot. Stay calm, make the passes. You can't turn it over like that.
Ben Fox tried retaliating, and it worked in his favor. Morgan Rupenstein couldn't get on that one. He steps out, and Darien get exposed for the offside, so now it'll be Chaminade ball. Here comes Creo right on the doorstep. Rather, it's Cutton. And Connor Cutton to the doorstep to get that goal.
I like that analogy, and once again, the Darien defense has a cut in them as Cutton was wide open in front of the cage. You see it right here. A great pass from Creo. Finds a wide open Cutton. Again, McNamara down low. It looks like the long stick a little bit confused out there, giving a lot of room to his defender. Shifts over to the left, leaves Cutton wide open, and this is the Chaminade team that can make you pay with the slightest of errors.
Oh, 100%. And McNamara, only a sophomore, still adjusting to this varsity style of play. Goes in the wrong direction to try and help the weak side, but Connor Cutton was really the weak player in that, or the vulnerable player in that scenario. Chaminade attacking quickly. Correa puts a man on the floor. The shot, no good. Chaminade gets it back. It's ball still in the game.
Luckily for Chaminade, they got the rebound, so they stay on the offense.
Here's Lockman. He gives it up to Luke Moran. Jude Lynch also gets his first touch. Chaminade just going to spin this one around. Lynch looking to attack the right side. Now it's Riley in the X. Riley, a rotational guy for the Flyers last year. He's committed to Amherst College, a very well-respected D3 program. He had a decent amount of goals towards the end of the season, and Ronan Lockman tries putting in one of his own, but Carter Hagen says no.
That's where Carter Hagen's going to make his money right there, making those stops from point X, and now the Darien offense will need to get going. Hagen's shown he's really willing to play and keep Darien in this game, but the offense needs to produce at some point. You can't win a game with one goal. And there's the flag coming out of nowhere. So
we'll see what that one is in a bit, but it has to be on Chaminade as Darien has continued play. It's Ben Bilodeau getting guarded out wide by the long pole Louis D'Agostino, the sophomore. Firing down is Elliot Lancaster. Lancaster gives it up to DeRizzo. DeRizzo checked hard, stays with it. Now in the middle of the slot, DeRizzo gives it up to Barnett. Barnett back to Bilodeau at the top. Bilodeau trying to maneuver around D'Agostino. Here's Barnett. He gives that one up to McGucket. And here's Picorni. Picorni down the right alley. Swim move, loses it. Chaminade going to pick it up, but the flag will come into play now.
So now Darien will get a player-up look right there. But again, head coach Jeff Braymeyer going to have some questions on that. The fact that Picorni was going to the net, and again, the bad pass turns it over. Darien needs to crispen up on that, and now with a man up here, they're going to really need to capitalize.
Suns out, guns out here at Darien High School. 3:19 left in the first quarter on a beautiful day for lacrosse here in Southside CT. Here's Picorni in the middle of the slot. Darien going around the horn.
They're looking for that open man again. They're a man up right now, so someone's going to be open, and there's Barnett.
Barnett strikes for the second time this game. Right by the women's arc, and a beautiful play right there by Darien High School.
I have a feeling you were just waiting to show that one off the women's line you just learned about a couple hours ago, but a big goal for Barnett right there. His second of the contest, and hey, maybe you just need that one guy to spark and get you back in this game, and Barnett cutting it down to a 1-goal deficit.
A program like Bucknell must be excited to have the likes of Porter Barnett going down to Lewisburg, PA.
Plus, you get their teammate, Mac McGarren, the long stick defender, senior captain.
McGarren, a huge player for the Darien High School Blue Wave. The senior captain for Darien this year. Here's Riley at goal line extended on the far side. He gives it up to Cutton. Cutton gives it back. Riley fakes the two-man game. Pat Flaherty's going to hold it out way at the top. Now it's Gary Correa. Correa off a pick. Luke Caesar avoids it. He gives it up to X now. Here's Cutton coming around.
Again, this is just Chaminade running laps around Darien. They're going to look for their perfect opportunity, find another hole in this Darien coverage. McNamara's got a good tight defense on his defender. He doesn't want to let up another.
Here's Correa. He gives it up. Cutton, smart pass. The shot from Riley, no good. Correa scoops up the ground ball. Now it's Flaherty. Flaherty, step down, tucks it in bottom or top right. Pat Flaherty, a beautiful shot right there. And he gets his 5th goal of the season.
And that's one Darien's going to question right there. They thought they had the coverage, but when you leave a guy like Flaherty right open, he is going to make you pay a snipe and a half from Patrick Flaherty.
Speaking of a snipe, Pat Flaherty headed to Navy next year with his brother Jack Flaherty, who's on the lacrosse team up there. He graduated last year. The face-off goes to ball.
I just got that reference. I like it.
Oh,
I think about it for a second.
It takes a bit. It takes a bit. I get it.
Good play on words.
Here we go, Darien down the left alley.
Nice job, Porter. Good to be Leo.
Now this is where Darien again needs to find a redemption goal right there. They've given up 4 so far. Looking to spark it here again. Darien's not really a first quarter team, which sounds a little bit crazy in a game like high school lacrosse, but they have a lot of time left in this contest to make up for it.
And speaking of making up for it, Barnett, an early hat trick for the Darien Blue Wave. He's got all 3 of their goals and single-handedly making this one close.
Well, when it's this hot out, you want to throw the hats off anyways, and you might as well for a good cause. How about a hat trick for Porter Barnett? And again, he's keeping Darien relevant in this game, trailing by 1 with about a minute left to go before the quarter break.
You know, you focus so much on a guy like Brady Picorni, you forget about the guys like Porter Barnett. And I mean, in such a big matchup, Chaminade, you know you want to put your best long stick defenders on the best players out there. So, I mean, Picorni is the immediate option, but then you can never lack on a slide to Barnett because he can hurt you at your most vulnerable times.
That's true, and a guy like Porter Barnett, 4 goals on the season. He just recently scored 1 on Tuesday against Ludlow, so 3 have come today, and there's the flag on the hits. But a guy that's really gotten hot as of late.
Here's Creo from goal line extended high. He scoops it up from Moran. Moran guarded by Rupenstein.
And again, Chaminade's got the free possession right here with the delayed flag on Darien, so they're going to look to make some work out of it.
Here's Landolfi coming up from X. Rather, that's still Moran.
Chaminade needs to be aware of the time here. About 20 seconds left.
Creo comes up, gives it up for Lynch. And Jude Lynch fires and scores.
And that's one of those saves that Hagan made in the first couple games against Brunswick and Prep, but as of late, he just has not been able to make those saves on those shots from distance. And that's Jude Lynch making Darien pay. And again, a lot of questions to be asked on this Darien defense right now.
And Chaminade noticing the weaker matchups and seeing that Carter Hagan, you know, a great goalie from up close, but once you range him a little bit, that's when Chaminade really starts to strike, and they really find themselves playing great from the outside. So these step-down shots are going to be abundant today.
They are indeed, and they're finding the holes on Hagan right now. So far, it's working.
Ball again. The Fogo cannot be stopped today. And we talked about it a little bit before the game, but the loss of a guy like Ty Kaminski, it's never going to help.
No, it's not, and then you got to find a replacement like that. Sometimes those guys don't just come in a season.
And there goes the final buzzer for the first quarter. Chaminade up 5-3 on Darien with a huge goal from Jude Lynch. That'll do it for the first here on DAF Media. I'm John Baccio here with Braden Schenk. Chaminade up 2.
DAF Media is actively seeking financial support. Founded in 2017, DAF Media has quickly become Southwestern Connecticut's source for quality sports, arts, and community programming. If you like what you see on the DAF Media Network and want to help us continue to deliver high-quality broadcasts while teaching lifelong STEM, communication, organization, and leadership skills, please email us at sponsor@dafmedia.org. We are a registered 501c3 organization.
Back here for the start of the second quarter, Chaminade, a 5-3 lead over Darien High School. They swap fields. Chaminade now going left to right, and Darien right to left.
Here's the thing, John. I mentioned the stat on the top of the broadcast. Darien's been outscored 10-3 in first quarters. How about they've outscored opponents 19-3 in second quarters? So this is where Darien really makes their money right here in the second 12 minutes.
Landolfi with his patented step-down shot, no good. Out one, skied over the cage. Going to pick it up is Lau. And Darien, you know, they're a killer in these times, as you said. Chaminade currently man up, though, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult in this time of possession.
That took a nasty bounce right there on number 9, Landolfi.
Here's Flaherty. He gives it up to Creo. Chaminade, a full senior lineup out there right now outside of Cutton, the sophomore, and Lau strikes.
And that's just great ball movement from Chaminade. They're keeping Carter Hagan's head on a swivel right now. And it's getting to the point that these shots, I don't think he's blinking on them because he's not really seeing the ball all the way. Right there you see a shot, and it's just a little too late, and in the back of the net for another Chaminade goal.
Hagan not too happy with himself, but there's not much you can do on a shot like that. Lau just spinning around and shoots it out of nowhere. I had difficulty keeping my eye on that one too.
I mean, that's where Chaminade gets good, is they know how to move the ball around great, and they can keep you guessing who has it.
Here's Marchetta trying to pick it up. A scrum for the ball. Darien comes up with it. Here's McGuckin. McGuckin guarded by Marchetta. He gives it up to Bilodeau.
That Bilodeau, one of 5 freshmen on Jeff Braymeier's team. He's building for the future here in Darien. Some talented freshmen, and Bilodeau can make you pay right there. And good heads-up play by Picorni to watch it out.
Picorni will pick up a fresh egg. He's guarded out wide by Fox. Picorni, spin move at goal line extended. Another split dodge. Here comes Bilodeau down the left alley. He gives it up to X. Shot from Elliot Lancaster. That one bounces up and over. And now we're going Chaminade's way. Benkakavo hustling to get out to that one.
Darien going to ask some questions on it, but again, there's a lot they got to do, and they got to get some shots first.
Ref pointed Chaminade's way. It's staying with Darien.
Interesting call right there, but staying with the wave nonetheless.
Here goes Lancaster, and a save by Verdi, his first of the day.
I give props to Verdi out there wearing the sweatpants in this hot of weather.
Verdi is a sweatpants lover. Wears them every game.
This seems like he's pushing it a little bit. I mean, it's nothing but sun out here, probably 80 degrees. I mean, I know I'm sweating, and I probably got a jacket on as well, but it's definitely hot out here.
Yeah, not the greatest. We got a little shade with this tent we got over us.
Oh, yeah.
Again, this tent, you can see all around it by DAF Media. This is what you are watching right now. I'm John Baccio here with Braden Schenk. 6-3 the score, 9.5 to play here in the second quarter. Chaminade does lead, but 3 goals coming from Porter Barnett is what's keeping Darien close.
It's one of those things where close isn't going to cut it when Chaminade can just keep moving the ball, keep taking the shots. They're going to destroy you on every shot they take, so the defense needs to step up, but the offense really needs to start producing, and they need it fast.
Landolfi gets ripped. Lau's behind him to pick it up. He gives it over to Creo. Creo, spin move. Draws the new long pole. That's Will Bonner. Creo. Goes around the field. Correa trying to step down. He rather gives it up. Now it's Flaherty. Flaherty gives it back to Lau. Lau down the right alley. The shot just wide.
Just keep taking those shots. Again, eventually they're going to fall. They have for Chaminade. Just keep taking them if you're a Chaminade.
Here's Creo, who flips it to the left side of the slot. Chaminade just going to go around the horn once again here. They love this slower style of play, and then they can fire off a shot wherever and whenever they want, just like Creo did right there. That one just a little bit deep, put a little too much umph on it.
Now the ball staying with Chaminade. Good defensive effort right there to keep it with the Flyers.
Here goes Flaherty. Braden, a 6-3 game right now. Chaminade has been attacking them all game. How does Darien come back?
I think they just need to make some minor changes on the defense, get some holes on the coverage. Hagen's got to start making those saves, really flip the momentum of this game. And you can't get discouraged down by 3. You got to know you're not out of this game until the very last whistle.
Here goes Flaherty trying to make a move. He gives it up to Landolfi. Landolfi finds it open, cutting the shot, a wormer that slides under Carter Hagen for the 7th of Chaminade's day. And something that was big coming into these last few games for Chaminade was the offense wasn't necessarily all there. It was a little bit shaky. You know, you have a 12-goal game here, a 10-goal game here. Even in that St. Anthony's game, they went up 5-2 at the end of the first quarter. They scored 5 goals the rest of the game. It's just not been a great ride for the Flyers this year on offense, but the last few games they've really found themselves.
They really have, and this is an offense that, again, 20 goals against St. Ignatius, California in their last game. That is quite the remarkable accomplishment in a team that they dropped their first contest to St. Anthony's, but head coach Jack Moran got the troops going, said we can't do that again. They've won their last 5 entering play today, and he wants a 600th career victory today.
Yes, that is a big one. Number 599 is what he's at right now. If he can come up with a win in Darien to avenge themselves from last year, I mean, that would be a sweet number 600.
It would indeed, and especially because you don't want to have to keep waiting. After 44 years, 600 is quite a magical number. Again, something that only 6 other people in this sport have ever done. And one of them stands on the other sideline with Jeff Braymeyer.
Braymeyer, another great of lacrosse. And one of his great players this year, Brady Picorni, strikes from the doorstep.
And that's just a big goal by Picorni. Kept his composure, was faced with some contact, still got the shot off. found the angle, which he's so good at, and scored on a birdie.
Darien goal. Scored by
Birdie just gets blown by right there, but that's a tough one. Brady Picorni, you know, he had to score eventually. It was just a matter of when, not if. So he gets his first one to make it 7-4 here with 7 to play in the second.
And Darien's hoping that that will be the momentum shifter that they need in this contest.
But still, it's tough to be a momentum shifter when you can't win a face-off. Quinn Ball coming up huge this game so far.
And like I said, the face-off X, Darien has been killed at all season, and it's something that with time, Barbagallo will get better, and he will eventually start getting more of those, winning more face-offs and setting up the offense. But for now, he's just got to go up against these more experienced and Division I commits.
Here's Lynch. He gives it to Lockman. Now Landolfi on the near side. Chaminade, you know, when you win so many face-offs, it's easy to keep possession. It's easy to stay in control of this game. And I assume that this has given Darien some Manhasset flashbacks. Is it?
I don't think so, because they've scored in this game. Remember, that Manhasset game, they were down 6-0 at halftime, which it's tough to come back from that, especially when you have a donut hole on the scoreboard. But in this game, they have some offense. They know they can beat PJ Verdi. It's possible, and they've scored 4. So just get Barnett going, get Brady Picorni going a little bit more, and this game is by no means out of it for Darien. They're still in this game.
And there's a good defensive stop by Darien. Ronan Lockman with the turnover that cannot be handled by his teammate. And now Darien looks to clear with Briggs McGuckin heading it.
And again, Darien's got some space here. They need to capitalize. They turned it over on the last one.
Graftonelli gives it up. Now with it in the offense is Darien. It's Max McBride who has it. He's guarded by Marchetta. McBride surging down the far side.
Smart play by Picorni not to pass it to a cutting McGuckin who was in coverage.
Now here goes Rupenstein. Rupenstein down the same side as McBride earlier. He gives it up to Picorni in the X. Shot and score. Porter Barnett, he matches it number with 4.
And look at that. That's a planned draw to perfection right there. Porter Barnett catches it, takes a little bit off it, and scores on Verdi. Again, he's getting them to fall today, and that's what Darien needs, that connection from Picorni to Barnett. The second time, and Porter's got another to his name.
Braden Picorni has been, you know what? He hasn't had the scoring volume that you may expect out of him. He's got 7 goals, but he's also got 7 assists on this season, and now he's already got 2 today.
He does indeed, and that's what makes him such a talented ball player, is the fact that, again, he can feed as much as he can score, which coaches love to see it, teammates love to see it, and he's just an overall great ball player.
Chaminade looking to respond.
So again, that's what I was talking about on the open, that Manhasset, they could get that pass to the wing, take a shot, and beat Hagan on it in transition. Manhasset doing the same thing Chaminade can, slowing it down, setting up the offense, looking for a better shot, and the way he was able to stop the Brunswick Bruins, and so far they've not had an answer to the Chaminade Flyers.
Yeah, you know, these great face-off guys, they're always tough to face, but there's always workarounds with these guys. You know, Chaminade, a few errant passes in these last few possessions, coming along with some goals. You're going to get good possessions, you're going to get bad, but Darien has done a really good job in the second quarter of maybe not shutting down Chaminade, but doing a much better job than they did in the first.
Yeah, I like that. That's what it's all about right there, keeping the other team off the scoreboard, hoping that the offense can get going. And again, Darien, it's a common theme this year. They struggle in the first quarter. They give up a lot of goals. The offense doesn't get going. But the second quarter is when they settle in their groove, really hit a stride in the third quarter. But then again, the roller coaster continues in the third quarter where the opposition continues to get back in the game. It's a team that the second quarter and the fourth quarter is their strong suit, and it has been for 4 games now.
On and off is this Darien team, just like their record reflects.
And again, it's just a matter of how big of a hole they find themselves in at the end of that first quarter, and if they have the power to dig out of it when they go down 2-0 without a single possession. And there's another one for Chaminade.
Riley beautifully played from the X position. You know, he doesn't get to play from the X all too often because of the likes of Creo. But when he does, he is magical. Take another look at this one.
That's another big goal by the senior right there, just going through the 5-hole of Carter Hagan. He's trying to stop all these shots left and right. but the Flyers keep peppering him with it, and there's only a certain amount that he can save it until eventually he's going to let some in, and he might have found that breaking point.
Riley.
We're back in the face-off circle. Same two as always. Riley, as we said earlier, headed to Amherst College. That's his first goal of the day. He's got 14 on the year to go along with 10 assists, 24 total points now. That puts him at third in the Catholic League of Long Island.
Wow, and that's a big lead to be in third place in right there. Those are some of the best players in the country in St. Anthony, Chaminade, St. John the Baptist, some other good schools. So that's definitely quite an accomplishment right there for the young senior.
Speaking of great players on Long Island, number one on that list, Owen Duffy, the 5-star of the St. Anthony's Flyers, headlining that number one team in the country this year. And, I mean, they have been killer. Owen Duffy in 3 games, 42 points.
Ooh. Although, John, who took him down last year, and he took down John Duffy in the St. Anthony's Flyers last year? The Darien Blue Wave.
You got it. You got it. I don't need to hear it again.
6-goal winning streak. So, again, Darien enters South Huntington with a winning streak over the Flyers, looking to defend that in a couple weeks. But right now, their attention is shifted to this Flyers team.
They call timeout. Chaminade up 8-5 with just under 3 minutes to play. We'll come back here in a moment. I'm John Baccio here with Braden Schenk on DAF Media. Back after the timeout. Chaminade up 8-5. And in their last 6 games, they are 5-1. The last 6 being their only 6 of the season. But on a 5-game win streak, they've played phenomenal throughout the year. But today, what's been putting them on top? What's the reason they're up 8-5, Braden?
It's the ball movement, John. They're moving the ball so well. They're keeping Hagan guessing who has it, where the shot's going to be taken. Their ability to mix it up and change it on the fly is impeccable. And it's throwing Carter Hagan in for a ride. And this defense overall in for a long day because, again, they're trying to shift, move, but they're just so quick-paced that they're moving faster than Darien, and it's showing with these open looks.
Absolutely, yeah. Chaminade, I mean, they've been doing a great job on offense, and this has been a great scheme so far. A team that likes to be very methodical in what they do, and then in an instant they can burst right at you, and that's what they've been doing to Carter Hagan today.
I like that verb, methodical. Very,
It's a Chaminade-like verb, if you know what I mean.
Been reading the dictionary or something?
Time to time.
Oh, jeez. It'd be fun to play like Scrabble against or something.
Shout out Mr. Vanderberg, my junior year English teacher. He was the GOAT.
Oh, jeez.
He made us read the dictionary like every 3 days.
That's some dedication right there from a high school English teacher.
He is. He's the GOAT.
Did he like quiz you on it? What is the 5th word in the U.S. dictionary?
No, he would make us write in our journals, actually, if you were curious.
Jeez.
Here's Correa. He gives it up.
Can't tell if I'm lucky to never have an English teacher like that, or...
No, you're not lucky. You're not lucky. You would love to have Mr. Vanderberg. Here's Creo from the middle of the slot.
Well, Creo's lucky to have that goal right there. A big one for Creo. I believe his 3rd of the contest, and he's just been firing on all cylinders.
Creo, the hat trick. He's matched half of his goals from last game. He had 6 against St. Ignatius, and this one a beautiful one-legged. And Carter Hagan, there's no way you're keeping in front of that.
Chaminade goal.
Spider-Man, I think you called him, the University of Richmond commit. He's shooting the ball really well, and the reason that entering play, he had 27 points. And it's for that reason right there.
Ball picks up the ground ball off the face-off. Quinn Ball, his brother plays at Yale, James Ball. And James Ball, one of the greatest Chaminade face-off men of all time. That's a history that Chaminade has for many, many years. Just incredible face-off guys. You've had the likes of James Ball, Tyler Sandoval now at Princeton. Last year, you even had Noah Filippelli, who's off at Middlebury right now. All these guys that play crucial roles, and now Quinn Ball gets to take after his brother.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's the staple of Chaminade lacrosse right there. The good Fogos getting it to the offenses, and Will Ball, what a name that is for a Fogo right there, liking to get that ball.
Absolutely. Now here's Cutton in the X. He gives it up to Riley playing their two-man game behind the cage.
Couldn't tell what was worse, if he had that name playing as a baseball pitcher or a hockey player.
I'm going to say hockey, I feel like, is the answer here.
I feel like it's a missed opportunity. You're playing with a puck, but you have the last name Ball.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought process.
Yeah. But then it's like if you're a baseball pitcher, it just means you're not a good pitcher.
That is true.
I mean, to be fair, I probably shouldn't be talking considering I've got the worst name for golf.
Shank. I didn't think about that one, honestly.
Oh, I got to get the heads up right there, Picorni. You read that coverage right there on Marchetti. Marchetta, my apologies, and that's going to be a timeout.
That timeout will be from Darien. Chaminade currently up 9-5, and Darien, you know, they've been sort of back and forth this quarter. What have you seen that's been different from the first to the second?
I think, again, they got settled in. They started seeing this Chaminade team a little bit better. You don't know when Chaminade comes in, a team from Long Island. You haven't seen much from them this year. They haven't played any common opponents this year. They will at the end of the season, but you really can't assess them that much. They come in here, you have to see them firsthand. It takes some breathing room into it, some growing pains, and eventually they got into their groove. They're starting to slow down, and now they need to overcome a 4-goal hump.
Yeah, Darien, you know, they started off the game neither here nor there. Porter Barnett was the one that was really keeping him in it with a hat trick to start this one off. He's got 4 goals now. But I think the reason that Chaminade has kind of let up 5 in this game, and, you know, scoring 9 is part of the other side, but letting up 5 is really down to, okay, let's focus a lot on Brady Picorni, keep all of our attention on him because he's a guy that killed us last time along with his cousin Finn Picorni, who's now at Harvard. So you got to just kind of let these really shifty, big players, you can't let them get past you, and that's why Chaminade is focused a lot on the 5-star number 7 player in the class. And then they let up Porter Barnett, who's been everywhere on the field today.
Like I said, it's the advantages and disadvantages of having a star player for Darien. That's one advantage, the fact that the defense is going to double team him, triple team him, and leave a guy wide open. And it's just a matter of can that guy convert for a goal, which Porter Barnett most definitely can. And it's coming up big for the Wave.
And this is why these big-name lacrosse teams are so good, because it's never just one guy that's carrying the whole team. It's a very well-rounded squad. There's about 10 D1 commits on this Darien high school team, and you know it makes sense for the level of talent which they have put out this year and in recent years.
Again, it helps when you have a lot of different offensive guys that can come up and step up big for goals. Darien had it last year with Matthew Minikis, Joe Caesar, Ty Comiskey, Christian Allegro. They had an entire attack unit that could score on you, and it kept the defense guessing, and that's what Chaminade's doing right now to Darien. The fact that all the attackers out there are touching the ball equally, all 6 of them, and they can all do some damage.
Chaminade playing in their 2-1-3 on offense. You've got Cutton and Riley behind the cage, and you've got some rotating players. Now Cutton comes up to the top, allows Lau to go out to the side. Chaminade just looking to set up their offense. No rush here with 8 seconds on the clock. Here's Riley. He takes his shot. But that one's no good. 3.7 on the clock. Chaminade played very well for that last shot, keeping Darien on their toes. Inside, Riley, another one. But it's wide again. The sidearm this time, well contested. Hagen, no worries.
Halftime.
9-5, the score at halftime. It's definitely been a very interesting one here. Braden, give us a halftime recap.
Well, again, Chaminade got going early. They had a strong first half. They're using that to their lead right now. Darien, they need a lot to work on at halftime if they want to come back in this game. They're not out of this by any means, but they need to make some adjustments and change some things into the second half, which they've shown they can against Fairfield Prep Brunswick. Close games at the end of one, then they really took off in the second half. So it's a similar story for Darien. It's just a matter of can they change course, come back into this game. 4 goals is nothing in lacrosse. That's a couple good shots, couple makes right there, and Darien's right back in this game. And Chaminade, they're playing a really solid game out there.
Braden, you talk about some adjustments. What's the number one thing that Coach Brandermeyer has to say going into the huddle?
defensive coverage guys. They're going to keep moving this ball as quick as possible, trying to fool you. You need to stay on your toes. You need to stay alert. Don't give them anything. Give it 110% out there because, again, if you give 109%, they're going to take advantage of you and score a goal out of it. So do not let anything up to this Flyers team.
Coach Braymeyer, one of the best in high school lacrosse ever. You can never doubt what he says, and Braden Schenk giving a little bit of insight on what he's going to do in that huddle. Again, scores 9-5. The Chaminade Flyers of Long Island marching into Darien, Connecticut, and they are up 4 goals. I'm John Baccio here with Braden Schenk on DAF Media. We'll see you after the half.
The Darien Foundation was founded in 1998 by Richard and Maureen Chilton, and the thesis behind that founding was to bring technology to the Darien public school systems. And that launched us, and that got us going, and through technology and capital project initiatives, we've now funded over $5.5 million over the last 24 years to build a better Darien.
Our board really likes to get involved and assist the partners that we collaborate with, whether it's a grant for a youth project or a grant from a community service, schools, the police. Often they come to us with ideas that we help them bring to fruition.
The Darien Foundation recently awarded the Darien Police Department 2 grants. One was for laser shot and the other for Faro technology. Laser shot technology is based on decision making. It may come down to using their firearm, but in reality, we would like them to talk the situation down where you use less lethal force, and this program allows us to do that.
Police, drop the gun!
Faro technology gives us a 360-degree view, catching all the points we need to catch in our accident scene. It also takes a lot less time. This allows us to open up roads, get traffic flowing a lot quicker than we ever used to be able to. We can also map the inside of buildings. We can use it at outdoor crime scenes, indoor crime scenes. It's really used for a plethora of investigations. It's a tool that most other departments may not have their hands on just yet, and thanks to the Darien Foundation, we have that technology.
At Home in Darien is a nonprofit organization that helps senior citizens to remain living independently in their home and in the community. We provide important services to help them do so, such as transportation. Thanks to the Darien Foundation, we have this amazing new van, and we are so excited about it and what it'll do for the community.
From all standpoints, this is going to be a real improvement in the services we provide, both in terms of safety and comfort. The Darien Foundation is important to the community in the scope that they reach out to answer needs.
Post 53 is the town's ambulance service. We respond to over 1,600 emergency calls a year. We're a vital service that has been here for 51 years. The technology upgrades provided by the Darien Foundation has been a game changer for us. It's allowed us to improve our training. It has helped us hone our skills. You don't know how important an ambulance is until you actually need it. Thanks to our partnership with the Darien Foundation, who's provided all of this technology and several grants throughout the years, we're able to continue to be prepared, to be well-trained and well-staffed, to respond 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whenever you need it.
The Darien Foundation is really excited to be able to launch a new program for the Darien schools, which will benefit students K through 12 in all 7 schools. This is the new robotics program, which will be an extracurricular opportunity for students to build robots, compete against other leagues, and collaborate together.
Our robotics program is going to benefit students in so many ways. In regular classes, students are always looking for the right answer. that there's only one way to answer something. Robotics is completely different. In robotics, you learn that there are multiple solutions to every problem. You learn that you have these obstacles that you have to overcome. You have to really be a creative problem solver. And most importantly, you need to persevere.
Early on in the process, the Darien Foundation reached out to administration and the offer to provide funding for a project, and it just dovetailed beautifully to the goals of the strategic plan. I look forward to continuing to work closely with the Darien Foundation, both on this project and other projects down the line.
We welcome ideas for possible grants. We'd like to do grants that promote and strengthen our community. Sometimes it's from an organization, sometimes it's from our emergency service partners, or it's from the Darien Public Schools. One of our most popular grants, which was the Playground by the Sound, came to us from 4 Darien moms who said, let's get together and figure out how to build this.
Thanks to the generosity of our board members and officers, every dollar you give to the Darien Foundation goes directly to the grants that we're supporting. I invite all of you to help us move our community further and support the Darien Foundation.
Celebrating and supporting Darien athletes. That is a simple mission of the Darien Athletic Foundation. Broadcasting live from the field, DAF Media covers 125 games a year. All Darien teams, our youth, in our town, on our fields. Fields like the center oval and upper oval turfs, the JV softball field, and Stadium East, the longest turf in New England, all made possible by the Darien Athletic Foundation and its generous founders and donors. The Darien Athletic Foundation is not just committed to building our town's athletic infrastructure, it's improving the civic infrastructure for everyone to enjoy. The multimedia scoreboard, the snack bar pavilion, and the stadium lights, a $750,000 investment that makes Darien High School just the second school in Connecticut with LED lights. The Darien Athletic Foundation board is made up of local parents who know just how quickly it goes by. Its archives of more than 60,000 photos capture those precious moments of our young athletes as they strive to be their very best. The Darien Athletic Foundation has raised almost $9.5 million for our town and its kids, and it's not stopping there, as it continues to build a legacy for our youth as bright as their future, both on and off the field.
DAF Media is actively seeking financial support. Founded in 2017, DAF Media has quickly become Southwestern Connecticut's source for quality sports, arts, and community programming. If you like what you see on the DAF Media Network and want to help us continue to deliver high-quality broadcasts while teaching lifelong STEM, communication, organization, and leadership skills, please email us at sponsor@dafmedia.org. We are a registered 501c3 organization.
Welcome you back to the DAF Media Network. 9-5, Chaminade leads Darien, about to start this second half. Braden Schenk, John Baccio with you. So glad you can be with us on this Thursday afternoon. Picture perfect from the Darien High School Stadium Field. And John, what's worked well for Chaminade so far?
Everything, man. I mean, the offense, the defense, shutting down Brady Picorni has been a big factor in this game. Although other factors have played a part, like a guy like Porter Barnett, the defense has been locked down. Verdi hasn't been forced to do anything too crazy just yet. Although he can, he's still fresh, and the offense has just been clicking. I mean, the 6-man set of 5 seniors and Connor Cutton in there have just been electrifying today.
It has indeed, and Chaminade looking to get another face-off win. They will, and that's Flaherty. Turned away, the long stick of Grafton Ely. Now Rupenstein in transition finds Jake Wilson on the near side. Wilson, the Loyola, Maryland bound. Now looking to set up the Darien offense. Down low, Picorni, he can't corral, goes behind his back just wide of the nets. Brady Picorni looking for the highlight reel play. Verdi came out of his crease, left the net wide open, but thanks to Porter Barnett, the ball stays with the Wave.
And that was looking like a pot of gold from the future Fighting Irishman. I mean, it landed right in his stick. He tried going behind the back, but just wide of the cage, and that one would have been magical.
He's done it before, gone behind his back, and again, the magical likes of Brady Picorni has really served this Darien team for the past 3 years. Had a lot of goals last year, 58 to be exact. This year, 7 entering play, a couple in today's contest. Morgan Rupenstein behind the net, moving it right back to Picorni at X. There's Ben Fox stepping up to the plate. Good cutting pass. A shot stopped by the big spoon of Verdi. Rupenstein gets his own rebound. Sandwiched between 2 Flyers, and the ball goes to Chaminade.
Chaminade just have to keep it clean right here, and speak of the devil.
The announcer's jinx comes once again. Porter Barnett using the speed, taking it safely to X. Again, this game's starting to get chippy now in the second half. Barnett looking for a cutter, doesn't find it. Now retreats it back to Max McBride, the freshman. 1 goal, 1 assist on the season. Dylan DeRiso, back from an injury that kept him out of the second half of the Brunswick game. Winds up, shoots it just wide. And the ball is staying with the Wave.
Darien just going to have to calm this one down. DeRiso gets a little antsy right there. I think if Darien can just take control of this possession right here, you go 1 at a time.
And Dylan DeRiso, the first-year starter on this Darien team, having a nice campaign for himself, 5 goals on the season. Just past McBride, into the open space, looking to hand it off. Picorni, he can't get it. Ground ball will be fielded by the Flyers, and number 34, Matthew Marchetta. And that's a good clear by the Flyers right there to turn it over.
Picorni broke his stick right there, trying to go behind the back. He has to retreat to the sideline to get another one. Look at Verdi getting out.
Now Chaminade looking to use it to their advantage. It was a good stick, too, for Picorni. It's been served him well this year.
Let's see how the new one treats him.
Yeah, probably his one from last year, if I had to guess. Moving around now at X. Number 19, Gavin Creo. He's having a game to remember so far. Not quite his 6-goal performance against St. Ignatius, but he's got 3 to his name. And now Chaminade, they're in control of this game right now and no rush whatsoever. They can just settle it down, play their game. It's been working for them this afternoon. Creo going back to his side. Now to Cutton. Just losing it was number 25, Lowe. Aiden Lau, the senior on this Chaminade team. And one-on-one, Hagan turns away the likes of number 21, Gary Correa.
Correa, a beautiful chance right there, but just could not convert. I mean, that was a prime opportunity to really set the tone for this half after no goals being scored so far. Chaminade could have put double digits up right there, but Carter Hagan, a great play as well. I mean, he's a mass in the cage, takes up so much area, and it really works to his advantage.
I've got to ask, is it Correa's birthday today? Is that what the balloons are for out on the other side?
If I'm being totally honest, it does say HBD 21, so I'm going to have to say it is.
The birthday boy, Gary Correa. He unfortunately will leave. The trainer will check him out. Took a big hit on that one.
Actually, fun fact, last year he had a game on his birthday against St. Anthony's. He had 2 goals in that one, but it was still a loss at the end of the day.
He's looking to be another happy birthday boy. I mean, someone's singing happy birthday. Someone say it is his birthday.
Is that because of us?
It might be. Some loyal listeners out there. It's also possible maybe someone's turning 21, but I feel like that would be very bad advertising.
I also highly doubt someone's turning 21 in a high school lacrosse game.
Could take a 5th year. Shot and a goal. Chaminade breaks the seal on the second half. And just like that, the Flyers are first into the double-digit range. Aiden Lau with another.
I mean, that's just beautiful play from Chaminade right there. Textbook setup offense, and Connor Cutton finding the right man. Lau firing. He's got such quick wrists with his short stick, and I mean, he can find any gap and score with it. He's got 3 men surrounding him. He doesn't care. If he's got a little bit of open space, he can crank it.
Lau had a goal against Darien a year ago, and the Navy commit. Strikes right there. The long stick of Urich picks it up. Pickpocketed from Brady Picorni. He's fired up on it. Looking to get it right back to his offense. Grafton Ely, the long stick. Now to Luke Caesar. Caesar into the attacking zone. Makes a nice move. Breaking the ankles of Urich. Now looking for the offense. Picorni. He can't get the finishing touch, and Chaminade once again holds strong on the defense.
And Brady Picorni, what a play, but it's $1 million move. 1 cent finish to it. But now Chaminade's having trouble retrieving.
Brady Picorni on the ground ball, looking to spark a Darien offense. Picorni knocked to the ground, and that's not what Darien was looking for. Up high. Another jump ball picked up by McGuckin. Looking for the offense, Picorni. He scores! Briggs McGuckin transitioning into Brady Picorni for the goal.
And you know what, Braden, what I was going to say right before this was, Picorni looks like he's doing a little bit too much out there. There was really no reason to go behind the back on the play before instead of doing something as simple as a swim move or a split dodge. But right there, Picorni finds himself in the right spot at the right time, and he knows exactly what to do. He keeps it simple, and he slots it in right past the 4-star committed to Johns Hopkins, P.J. Verdi.
The big 9-9 gets Darien's 6th goal on the season, on the game. And just like that, they're down to a 4-goal deficit. Still a lot of work left for Jeff Braemeyer's team. And Ball wins another face-off. So dominant from the face-off X.
Ball only lost 1 today. It's forced Darien to now kind of rotate guys. Right in there, you saw Grafton Ely.
Ely the long stick, and that's something that Darien has gone with all season, really, just to disrupt Ball and throw him out of his element, going with the long stick on the face-off. Jake Wilson took one. Mac McGarren took one against Brunswick. Now Chaminade back on the attack. There's number 19, Gavin Creo. 27 points entering play. That's second in the Catholic League with points. Again, behind the great Owen Duffy of St. Anthony's.
Creo, if you were curious, where's the number 19 as he was voted into that number this year? Number 19, a very prestigious and honored number over at Chaminade High School because of the Gold Star alumni Jimmy Regan, who died in battle.
A shot and a goal. Chaminade from downtown, Ryan Landolfi. And the Flyers keep on pounding Darien.
And I mean, Ryan Landolfi, although he may not have the scoring production that he had last year, which last year was phenomenal, that one is Ryan Landolfi to his finest. The dual sport athlete playing both hockey and lacrosse. But he's committed to Navy for lax for a reason. Right there, he strikes. He's got a big frame, super strong guy. He can go under and slots it right in with such power.
The 4-star recruit, soon to be Shipman, my apologies, and a face-off win goes to the Flyers in Urich.
Speaking of the Shipman, Chaminade have 3 of them, Lau, Flaherty, and Landolfi. All 3 will be headed to Annapolis next year.
And you know they're going to be playing against their teammates, Brian Knapp, off to Army West Point in 2 years. So the Army-Navy rivalry will see a resurgence in Mineola, New York.
Ronan Lockman also headed to Army next year.
So they're just sending guys left and right to the armed services.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a big thing that Chaminade does do. You get a good handful of guys that go off to the military academies after high school.
I want to say it was 3 or 4 years ago. Darien, I believe, had players going to all 5 branches. They had a player going to Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force. I believe I'm missing one more.
Military, or U.S. Marines.
The U.S. Marines. So I don't think they don't have a school, though, do they?
Oh, yes, they do.
Oh, they do.
Kings Point.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm drawing a blank on his name, but like I said, 3 or 4 years ago, Darien had a player going to all 5 branches, and Chaminade using the branch to put one in right there. That's number 19, Gavin Creo. And the Flyers have their 12th of the ball game.
Creo, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the day, and he just cannot be stopped. He makes it 12-6, and easy does it. Creo on the underhand bouncer, straight past Carter Hagan. And he keeps it calm, cool, and collected right in front of the cage.
And right now, just Chaminade has been dominating Darien. The Wave has not had an answer to Chaminade. And again, it's something that Darien, they came out very slow, and you thought they would get a little bit better, but here in the third quarter, they're still being dominated by those fast possessions and a whistle against the Wave, keeping the ball with the Flyers.
Bit of confusion on the field, but Flaherty is going to get right back at it, and Flaherty, a midfield machine, last year had a huge year for the Flyers, and I mean, most of it was actually being played on the defensive side, and that's where he really got a lot of his prowess, playing back, guarding really good offensive players from out deep. It would be a lot of midi-on-midi matchups that Flaherty would come up with the ball after a nice little check and get the clear almost every single time.
We mentioned Flaherty off to Navy, and you look at the other offers he turned down. How about Michigan, Johns Hopkins, Notre Dame, Georgetown, and he picked Navy out of that. It just shows you everybody wants the star midfielder from this Flyers team.
Yeah, Flaherty, I mean, he wants to play with his brother, and that's totally fair. I mean, Navy, obviously an incredible program for lacrosse.
Scooped up in front of the net, a fly ball. It is in the empty space, and the possession staying with the Flyers, thanks to number 21, Gary Correa. That was one that Darien just couldn't corral the rebound. Chaminade kept getting it, kept applying the pressure, and they stay on the offense.
Chaminade, no reason to go fast right here with 4 minutes and 15 seconds left on this clock. Look at Cutton just jogging to the X. Chaminade going to reset and get the best opportunity possible to make this lead more than double.
The Flyers are going to take a long-distance shot. Hagan doesn't make the stop on it, goes wide. Possession stays with the Flyers. Again, they have that sweet spot around the 20-yard line or so where they've just been sniping Hagan from all different directions, and it's been working for him. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And Lau's been trigger happy from that sort of distance, but it's been working out for him today. 2 goals on the day. And Hagan really hasn't been dealing with it from those, hasn't been dealing with the step-down shots from that distance quite great.
And a goal. What a shot by Hunter Kimball. Hopping up on it. Actually, might have been 22, Brendan Riley.
That was Brendan Riley right there. Riley been quiet this second half a little bit, but now he finds himself in a nice little position. The one-legged left-handed shot from the righty Brendan Riley.
So Kimball cheers on his teammate Riley as Brendan Riley gets the goal for Chaminade. He's in double digits this year, and the senior from Manhasset, New York, with the goal.
Kimball, the sophomore that got pulled up to varsity, he's injured currently, however, so he's doing the scorebook, but he's still helping out the team.
So in a way, he did score that play.
In a sense.
Just in a book.
Yeah. He wrote it down instead of actually doing it.
So I don't know, I saw 21 to 22, and I think I looked at 23 instead.
Yes.
So it was in the ballpark.
Right there.
Only off by 1. Now at X, Riley. Being met with the defensive likes of Jake Hendrickson. Now Gavin Creo. Luke Moran. Good defensive force away by Briggs McGuckin. Again, Chaminade drawing out the offense, looking for something. They definitely did their scouting report after watching the Manhasset game and realized this is how you beat Darien. Get a nice long drawing out offense and score on it. Win the faceoff, go back to the offense.
Going back a little bit earlier, Luke Moran playing some really nice defense by Brooks McGuckin, but I mean, just doing a little bit too much. He's got his right side open, and it would be really easy to just drive down the left alley and take your chance that way. But instead, he decides to go the strong side defender's way, and then it just leads to a bad shot by Jude Lynch right there.
That was a shot from Jude Lynch, stopped by Carter Hagan for the save. Now Elliot Lancaster in transition. Lancaster into the attacking zone. Off to Picorni. He takes the shot just wide. And the ball staying with the Wave thanks to Dylan DeRiso.
And this is where Darien really have to try and claw this one back. The third quarter is notoriously not Darien's greatest, but only scoring 1 in 10 minutes of play so far. It's just not what you need against a really strong Chaminade team.
Again, an up-and-down game for Darien in the fourth quarter. A shot bouncing and stopped by Verdi. They've only scored 7 goals in third quarters this season, their second least productive quarter. In a no-man's land, Barnett grabs it. Verdi at no-man's land, and Barnett retreats it. That could have been bad for Chaminade. PJ Verdi was out far away from home.
Verdi making the smart play there, though, checking and just getting right back to where he's comfortable at. He saw that the double team was coming from Matt Marchetta onto Porter Barnett. So Verdi was able to recover nicely, especially after making that lunging save earlier on.
McCorney now throws it down low. Again, a bad pass, and that one will be passed over to PJ Verdi. Another turnover on this Darien team, and those turnovers are killing the Wave right now, giving the ball right back to the Flyers.
That was a really risky one by Brian Knapp right there, giving it up to PJ Verdi, just trying to hot potato it out of his stick as quick as possible, and McCorney almost got in the way of that. But Chaminade, they clear nicely, and now they can set up their patented offense.
And this has worked so far for Chaminade. 50 seconds left before the expiration of the quarter. If you're Chaminade, you're looking for one more. Along the perimeter. Now ringing around is Cutton.
This is the time you got to just get it to your stars, and right here, Gary Correa is looking to make his mark.
On the wing, there's Landolfi. Turn away. Long stick of Will Bonner getting in the middle of that pass. And almost a bad pass intercepted by Chaminade. Instead, Darien in the midfield. Rupenstein just barely keeps it alive. Rupenstein's got two. He'll take the shot, and Verdi makes the stop. 13-6. Chaminade leads Darien after 3 quarters of play. Don't go anywhere. We still have 12 minutes between the Flyers and the Wave, and we'll be back on the DAF Media Network.
DAF Media is actively seeking financial support. Founded in 2017, DAF Media has quickly become Southwestern Connecticut's source for quality sports, arts, and community programming. If you like what you see on the DAF Media Network and want to help us continue to deliver high-quality broadcasts while teaching lifelong STEM, communication, organization, and leadership skills, please email us at sponsor@dafmedia.org. We are a registered 501c3 organization.
(13-6). Chaminade leads Darien. The Wave looking for some magic here in the final 12 as they trail by a good amount to this Flyers team.
And Braden, you said earlier on in this game that the fourth and the second have always been their good quarters. Well, the second was pretty kind to them today. Let's see if the fourth can match it.
It's definitely where the defense steps up most this year for Darien. That's Grafton Ely quickly turning it away, getting it back to Carter Hagan. Now the offense needs to come to play. Hail Mary pass just high. Barnett looking to get the other end of it, and a good recovery by Chaminade Tully. Flag has been waved on it, so the Flyers get a free possession. But again, those are going to kill any team, especially trailing this late in a game.
Tully, the football running back, he started and had about 800 yards on a ton of carries as a junior, and Tully, he's just got some serious speed.
How about his defender, number 88, the Darien running back, Jake Wilson? It's one of those common themes you see, the running backs transitioning to lacrosse. A lot of contact they face, so it's the same thing. Just give them a lacrosse stick, see if they can shoot it. same thing. Go up the lane, run a nice X route or whatever.
Except Wilson here is the one that's dishing out the contact, not so much receiving it.
And a great pass and an even better finish by Brendan Riley, and the Flyers start the fourth quarter with a bang.
I don't know how many times I've seen an alley-oop in lacrosse, but you're going to see it right here on this replay. Take another look. Lau coming up the left side. The no-look pass alley-oop. Brendan Riley hops up and finishes. It's Flaherty, rather. And what a goal that was for Chaminade, and that really is just describing the whole day. Chaminade just dunking on Darien constantly.
Brendan Riley with the goal for the Flyers. They lead by 8. Again, a running clock would come and play at 12. There's still some room there. And Darien, they need to get the offense going. 6 goals in the first 3 quarters of play, and the second least that they have scored all season. Again, the one exception, the Manhasset game, where they fell to the Indians by the final of 11-2. And that was a game that they went into halftime with a 0 on the scoreboard. Today they had 4 on the board, but again, a slow third quarter for Darien where they only saw 2 goals.
Yeah, not winning faceoffs is not going to help you in any sort of way. This was kind of what we said before the game, but I mean, you can't win faceoffs. It's tough to get possessions. It's tough to win games, and that's really been the tale of the tape.
And the turnovers just continue to eat Darien. The fact that they get the ball, but then they turn it right back over to a potent Chaminade offense that has just struck it on all cylinders this afternoon. There's Luke Moran. Off the screen from Tully. Moving it around, that's Cutting.
Chaminade last year, they lost 15-12 against Darien. There is Gavin Creo, get a number 5 on the day.
How about a day to remember? Gavin Creo, he had 3 against Darien last year. He's got 5 this afternoon, and Chaminade's rolling away with this contest.
I mean, there's a reason that he is the player to watch, and you just can't stop the man. Unfortunately, Gavin Creo repping that number 19. It's so difficult to play against a guy of his caliber that just game in, game out is unstoppable.
Gavin Creo with another goal to his name. He entered with 15 on the season, and he is just having a day to remember. 20 on the season now. Owen Duffy might be getting a little scared about that first place in points now.
It's going to take a bit of an effort, but never say never.
I mean, he scored 6 against St. Ignatius last game, 5 against Darien. If I'm Fairfield Prep, I'm scared of big number 19, Gavin Creo. And again, that's where Chaminade heads next. They will host the Fairfield Prep Jesuits at Gold Star Stadium and bringing in Kellenberg and Delbarton, New Jersey, before they take another road trip to Fujitani Field in Wilton, Connecticut for a clash with the Warriors of Wilton High School. You going to hit the road again for that one?
Unfortunately, we are not. Our main pairings have been with DAF Media, but Chaminade Broadcasting has stayed on the property of Chaminade outside of here. And we're also going to be getting into some baseball this year out in Caniac Park, which is a local baseball field by us. But really, this and the baseball state championship last year, which was played in St. John's, that's really the furthest we've gone.
You don't want to meet up with Wilton Educational TV down there, the great guys that they have in Wilton, Connecticut.
Braden, I think you're putting words in my mouth here. I never said I would not want to meet up with the Wilton team. And I mean, hey, I'm always here, 23033JB at chaminade-hs.org if you ever want to reach out.
Did you just drop your email on this broadcast?
I did. I really did, because Wilton, I know they're watching.
The great Tommy Fox leading that program over at Wilton, one of the other premier streaming programs in the FCAC. I mean, you look around the conference, Staples getting up there. Wilton definitely has done a great job over recent years, and a goal for Chaminade on the free possession. Peter DeBuscher wearing the number 14, and the Flyers have goal number 16 in the contest.
Peter DeBuscher, the lacrosse player in his family, and look at that one. He goes behind the head, the junior. Is going to step into a huge role next year, and I know that might be a familiar name for some people, the last name DeBuscher. Well, that's because he's the grandson of Nick legend Dave DeBuscher. Yes, he is. Dave DeBuscher, an NBA 75 chosen player this year. He was also an NBA 50 player at their 50th anniversary. But Peter DeBuscher, I mean, that name's going to follow him for the rest of his life. And I know he probably gets bombarded by that name all the time, but you just have to bring it up when the opportunity arises, because When you're the grandson of one of the greatest NBA players of all time, it's tough not to.
I was going to ask, how long have you been keeping that in, waiting to use that fact?
Oh, I mean, as long as he's been off the field, honestly. But even so, his brother, actually, if you're curious, Dave DeBuscher, another Dave DeBuscher, he plays basketball for the Chaminade team, averaged 20 points a game this year, and reached the 1,000-point club.
Wow, that's quite the accomplishment right there. Timeout will be taking with 7:59 to go. Chaminade leads Darien by 10. You're watching the DAF Media Network, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. We'll be right back after this. Back on the DAF Media Network, 7:59 left to be played out of the timeouts. And a game that the Flyers got to an early lead and have not looked back. They lead by 10 now. And Darien's offense, their defense, a lot of questions. And there's another for Chaminade. Give it to number 7, Liam Ledwith.
Ledwith heading to Muhlenberg next year. He'll be a mule, and he strikes today. That's his second goal of the season for the Flyers.
Talk about one of the cooler mascots in college lacrosse, the Muhlenberg Mules. And that's where he'll be off to, joining another one of his teammates, and a goal right there for Ledworth. And it's now 17-6.
If you're curious, that other teammate he'll be joining, Luca Pellegrossi, if you see him on the field, number 28. You also have a new face-off man entering the game, Alex Choi, the junior.
Choi, the junior, who will be going with ball on the Fogos for the next couple of years on this Chaminade team. Violation against Choi and the Flyers. Ball goes to the wave.
And it's so unfortunate because Choi, such a great face-off guy, but he just has to be there with ball. And unfortunately, ball is going to be there that every year Choi is there.
The club player with the Igloo Lacrosse Club, and gets that last face-off. Darien now looking for some offense. First time the offense is set up in this fourth quarter. Pretty tough to score when the offense doesn't have the ball. Picorni, he's jumping and he scores! Brady Picorni showing off the acrobatic play, and he got Darien now back within 10.
And that's just a beautiful play by the 5-star recruit. And, I mean, this is what you expect out of him. Picorni, I mean, jumping just outside of the crease, and he puts that one away with seemingly ease after getting a hard check from Ben Cacavo. And that's really good defense, but just better offense.
And again, what people say about this Darien team, if you think they're scary now, wait 2 or 3 years when the freshmen develop. Picorni's in his senior year. This team's going to be lethal next year and beyond. So a lot of good players returning. Carter Hagan, another junior, coming back for Darien. So the Blue Wave got a lot of key returners. So will Alex Choi be coming back next year as he wins that face-off. Stripped by Grafton Ely. Charlie Tom now wearing the number 24, the 6'6" sophomore. God, I wish I could have been that tall as a sophomore in high school.
I mean, I wish I could be that tall, period. I don't even know what I would be doing right now if I was 6'4".
Remember in the winter, Charlie Tom played in the House Basketball Championship up against Kevin Roach for Darien, who's a sophomore standing at 6'8" in a sophomore basketball league. That was your big man battle.
I mean, I don't even want to think about that battle. That makes me feel a little something about myself. I don't know.
2 of the tallest kids at Darien High School, 2 great lacrosse players. Picorni, a nice spin move. Goes behind his back, just wide. Picorni was looking to make it fancy. Instead, shoots it wide, and Doriso will restart. Picorni loves going with the behind-the-back shot. Has gotten it to work this year. That time just wide.
Picorni's flashy, but he also knows when to keep it simple, and he's been doing it today. He's got 3.
McGuckin gets it. met with 4 Chaminade defenders, and he's pickpocketed.
And that's just great team defense right there. Not much you can do about that if you're a Darien offensive player. The likes of the duo of Bens, of the long pole defenders, Ben Cacavo and Ben Fox. Cacavo headed to BU next year, and Ben Fox, the 5-star, headed to UNC in 2.
2 great defenders on this Chaminade team. And now the Flyers are back on the offense, up by 10. 5:40 left to be played. Again, in a game that Chaminade got going early, and they did not look back.
Yeah, Chaminade, I mean, it's just been all-out dominance today as you see Ronan Lockman on the ball. But, I mean, there's just not much you can do going against such a prolific offense like this. And I was talking about that lineup that they started out with, the likes of Pat Flaherty, Aiden Lau, Gavin Creo, Ryan Landolfi, and whoever you want to put in that 6th spot, whether that's Lockman, Lynch. Did I mention Riley?
I think you might have.
I believe I did.
Doesn't hurt to mention him again.
Yeah. Riley obviously got to be in there. Connor Cutton. Oh, Gary Correa. That's who I'm missing.
Big number. It's his birthday, too, and you forgot about him.
I did. I'm so sorry about that, Gary, if you're watching.
Well, he's playing right now, so he wouldn't be watching.
He'll watch later, maybe.
Hagen looking to box out, and Chaminade gets the ball. Miscommunication on Darien. Nobody picks it up, and the Flyers stay on the offense. This is one good performance for the Flyers against the nationally ranked team. They're looking for more. The shot just high. Flag will be thrown for some late contact as Cardali falls to the ground.
Yeah, and that's just Chaminade playing Chaminade offense. I mean, they draw nice fouls. They get defenders to slide. They get them to draw in on you. And, you know, Chaminade, it's their specialty of just making the right play every time.
So McGuckin and Crody will trot off. It will be Lee Crody taking a knee in the box. So Chaminade goes man up. And Flyers up by 10. Just looking for some more offense.
Chaminade just got to end this one strong. 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go. And, you know, they haven't let up any leads this season, but you can never say it's too late. And here comes Max McCarthy in for P.J. Verdi after putting in a shift for the Flyers.
So the Sweatpants King, P.J. Verdi, exits. Pretty good game to his name. Kept Darien only 7 goals, and now the Chaminade senior Matthew McCarthy checks in.
McCarthy, the JV Lacrosse hero. Chaminade won the JV championship my sophomore year. And, I mean, that was the year after COVID, so it was odd, but that was also the year that P.J. Verdi tore his ACL. Max McCarthy comes in, and in the championship has a stellar game against St. Anthony's to win that one by a very close margin. But Verdi, I mean, he's just come back better than ever.
Shot stopped by the big spoon of Hagen. A good shot going to that near side off the stick of number 14 to Busher. And that's something that the Johns Hopkins commit P.J. Verdi waited his turn in line behind Colm Flynn last year and now got his chance to start for this Flyers team. Led him to 5-1, 3.5 minutes, taking him to 6-1 on the season.
Flynn also now playing lacrosse over at South Carolina, the University of South Carolina, that is.
Home of the Gamecocks.
Indeed. And Flynn, he had a phenomenal senior season, which really propelled him into that Division I status.
I mean, you talk about the year Chaminade had last year. 12-5, went all the way to the Catholic League Championship where they fell to St. Anthony's by the final of 10-9 in overtime at Hofstra University. A great game, and just sucks to lose there in overtime, but Chaminade wants revenge on those Friars.
Oh, yes, they do. I don't know when that game is going to come, but, oh, it's coming soon, and it's been marked on the calendar since, I don't know, October, let's say, maybe September even. It's the game that Chaminade always loves playing, and it's just a matter of when it happens and if they'll be ready.
Flyers moving around, 2:45 left in regulation. Darien going to need a miracle, 10 goals to make the comeback here. A shot. Hagen just watches it, skips behind him, and out of play.
You also got some of the JV squads flooding in here. Chaminade played Darien JV just now. Not exactly sure who's won that matchup just yet, but that's soon to come.
Game over on the beautiful oval field at Darien High School. Nonetheless, they will now shift their attention to this varsity team, and Chaminade wants the happy bus ride back to Mineola. Ground ball fielded by the likes of number 23, Asa Beach, the senior committed to St. Lawrence to play lacrosse. 2 assists on the season, both coming on Tuesday against Fairfield Ludlow, where he fed his friend, Dylan DeRiso, or his attacking brother, as I was trying to say. Definitely a good pair out there. Max McBride. Back to Picorni. Picorni just being met with a solid defense of Kevin Warham. And this Chaminade defense is not giving anything up to Darien.
Yeah, the Chaminade defense is terrorizing, and it shows in Darien only putting up 7 goals today. It's the least amount of goals that they've put up all season.
With the exception of Manhasset.
Oh, how could I forget? Manhasset was a whole different story, an 11-2 final in that one. And, it shows that most of the time when they don't have the face-off man on their side, it's just not going to go your way, the exception being Brunswick. But, what a game that one was. Darien just played out of their minds.
That's something this Darien team, a very hit-or-miss squad, as they've shown this year. And today is going to be a miss for the Wave as they trail by 10 in the final minute of play. Again, Darien, they will take the road trip to Staples Stadium on Saturday for a clash with the number 23 team in the country, the Wreckers of Staples High School. A rematch of last year's state championship in which the Wreckers got the best of the Wave thanks to 7 unanswered goals in the first half. Some nostalgia of the Manhasset games. So Darien will look for revenge on Saturday at 5 o'clock under the lights, and then they will go to Tiger Hollow next Thursday for a clash with the Tigers of Richfield High School before next Saturday they go to Long Island for the highly anticipated rematch with the St. Anthony's Flyers, as your papers went flying.
Yeah, we'll grab those at the end of the call. Thank you very much.
20 seconds left to be played, and then as for Chaminade, they will advance to 6-1 on the season. Down low, Roach, stopped by McCarthy. Crease violation, that's going the other way. But the Flyers, they will welcome in Fairfield Prep, then Kellenberg, Del Barton, and St. John the Baptist for a 4-game home stretch over at Gold Star Stadium to round out the month of April and then head into their final stretch against Manhasset, Wilton, and St. Anthony's.
Chaminade, a huge upcoming stretch, and they extend their win streak to 6.
And how about that? Only the 7th time in lacrosse history, but Jack Moran has crossed the mark, his 600th career victory at the helm of Chaminade Lacrosse.
Absolute insanity. In his 44th season with the Chaminade Flyers, Coach Moran hits 600. The balloons are flying, and what a day it is for not only Chaminade in a 17-7 win, but Jack Moran putting a stamp on his legacy with the Flyers as one of the zeros goes flying.
Oh, no. Well, he's still got 600. Mike Masseria, Joe Cuso, Tim Flynn, Barb Hartraff, Rob Boardley, Jeff Braymeyer, and now Jack Moran are the only high school lacrosse coaches ever to have 600 or more victories. And now head coach Jack Moran has something to celebrate. And how about a big win against the Darien Blue Wave by the final of 17-7.
And not only do they win this game, they win it with style, and they win it with revenge from last year. They lost a close one at Gold Star Stadium on their home turf, 15-12. And now they show up to Darien with number 600 on the line, and they put on a show for it.
So last year, the first ever meeting, Darien won it. Chaminade gets their revenge. John, me and you were on the call for both of those games, and I've got to say, this is a rivalry that's got to be a tradition on both of these teams' schedules, especially with the new scheduling rules for Darien. They have more out of conference, but this is a rivalry between 2 of the greatest high school coaches and 2 of the greatest high school teams, and they've lived up to it for 2 games now.
And it's been amazing to call the first 2 here with DAF Media, but unfortunately, Braden, both you and I will not be able to call any of these games in the future because, we'll both be off at college, but that's a whole different story. But it's crazy to say that we won't be seeing this Chaminade-Darien rivalry live out, but hopefully it will, and we'll see many games both at Gold Star and in DHS Stadium Field.
Never know. We could get you back from Cuse. I can come back from Blacksburg. We could call another Chaminade Darien game for the reunion of it. But as for today's contest, Chaminade takes down Darien 17-7. John, let's start with Chaminade. What went well for the Flyers today?
I mean, absolutely everything in a sense, Braden. The offense was just put together to no end. And that was something that heading into these last few games, it was questioned, you know? Can Chaminade pull this one out? What's the offense doing today? How's the offense going to play tomorrow? But these last two games have been incredible and exactly what Chaminade need at the end of the day. I mean, before these last two, they scored 10, they scored 15, cool. They scored 11, they scored 14, cool. But then last two games, 17 and 20, it doesn't get much better than that, and it's because of their superstars who are playing at a superstar level. We seem to underrate the class of 2023 a little bit at Chaminade High School, but I mean, they're really putting on a show for the Flyers.
And Chaminade goes to 6-1 on the year. They host Fairfield Prep in their next contest this weekend. As for Darien, John, what went wrong for the Blue Wave?
Honestly, it was defensive adjustments, not getting out on certain players, and Carter Hagan, a tough day in net. Those step-down shots from about 15, 20 yards out, just killer. And you can't be letting all of those up at the end of the day because it's difficult when you can shoot from anywhere and still have a chance of it going in. Hagan, you know, he's incredible when you get inside, and Chaminade really wasn't able to attack the doorstep today because of that. But anywhere in between that 10 to 20-yard range, Hagan was vulnerable. Chaminade found it.
So again, Chaminade takes down Darien by the final of 17-7. 44th year head coach Jack Moran has his 600th career victory at the helm of the Flyers. And that's going to be one happy bus ride for the boys from Mineola, New York, as they leave here 6-1 on the season. That's going to do it from us here at DAF Media. For our entire production crew, Thomas Aponte, Owen Gluck, Eric Bellingham, Jason Bellingham, and our graphics coordinator, Cooper Kelly, our DAF Media advisor, Damian Andrew. For all of them, John, I want to thank you for coming out. 2 great games here on this Thursday morning here. I want to thank you for coming all the way from Chaminade High School, helping us out on this DAF Media production. 2 great calls. Best of luck to you at Syracuse. I know we'll cross paths at least at some point, but it's been a pleasure getting to know you the last 2 years, and I'm going to miss this rivalry next year.
And must I say thank you, Braden, for inviting me up here, coming down to do the call last year, and I wish you the best of luck over in Plattsburgh at Virginia Tech. I mean, it's been great, and you know, we know that we'll see each other in the future.
Yes, we will. Maybe over at the Carrier Dome, JMA Wireless, whatever you call it, and over there. We got into that in the first game. But nonetheless, that will do it from us here at the Darien High School Stadium Field against Chaminade. Your victors by the final of 17-7 over the Darien Blue Wave. Saying so long from the Darien High School Stadium Field. Joined alongside John Baccio, the great John Baccio. I've been Braden Shank, and we thank you for watching this production of DAF Media, joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Have a great Thursday, everybody.